Vitamin D is good. Apparently, I've heard that a lot. I got some vitamin D because
That's
fuck it.
good for, in general, that's good for like your mood.
Yeah, it feels
And
great.
it's good for all like your skin. I think like all kinds of stuff actually.
Yeah,
Vitamin D, take it, people.
well, it's
Also
like
get the vaccine.
you can take too much vitamin D. That's the thing. You
Whatever the
take
recommended dose is, guys. That's all you need. You don't need to take too much. But it's good. Good for you.
yeah,
Vitamins are good for you.
eat your vegetables and
Vaccines are
get
good
the
for you.
vaccine, right? Like these
All
things
the
don't
things that
have to
start,
be
all the things
mutually
that start with
exclusive.
V. V makes a peace sign, guys. V.
B for
V.
vagina.
Vegetables,
B for everything that's good. B for
vitamins,
where you came from, bro.
vaccine,
Vaccine, vitamins, vaginas,
Vaselines,
Vaseline. Uh, uh,
not overlook vagina.
let's not overlook the vagina. Let's not overlook the vagina. If this Texas shit starts happening everywhere else in America, I am out. I am done. I am through with participating in the political process. I am through being whatever pragmatist and incrementalist and all the liberal and all the other things that I would be accused of being by saying like, yeah, I don't vote for anybody. I just vote against the worst thing, right? Which I think is just that's a fine to do because your vote doesn't really matter all that much if you're not trying to actively stop the people that are doing what is happening in Texas from happening, right? That's the only thing that we have is stopping those people, right? If we stop them good enough, then we can start talking about the other things. But for the time being, that's all we get. So,
And just to be clear about what you're talking about, of course, the Texas, state legislature decided, like, without really much pushback at all, other than from the Democrats, who are not in power at all. They basically decided that any abortion beyond 6 weeks.
no, and this is all causing it's
There's a lot to it. There's a lot to it.
yeah, but I mean, but all that stuff like this is why I'm trying to stop the just explainer stuff because it's like this is the point, right?
Okay.
Is that Texas has empowered the world theoretically, right, to to snitch on you for getting an abortion anywhere, right? If you are from Texas, then you are not functionally not allowed to get an abortion because all the abortion clinics are closing because of the weird backhanded snitch aspect to the de facto abortion ban, which is all that really needs to be said about what is happening in Texas. Like that 6 week shit and all that fucking other stuff. It's like no, what it's a de facto abortion ban because because they have empowered people to snitch on people who are aiding and abetting or getting an abortion, and that is was the last string that had attached me to any Democratic Party anything. Was I became a single issue voter when I realized that practically every other thing, every other issue is agreed upon by both parties functionally, right? Like war, racism, fucking, LGBT stuff.
Gun
Although,
laws is another one that's kind of like, one of those wedge issues. But yeah, I mean, abortion's definitely the bigger one
it's
going
gun
on there.
laws, LGBT, and abortion are the three things that they disagree
Yeah.
on, right?
Especially the T lately in the LGBT.
Yes,
But
and
yeah, all of it really.
yes,
But
all that
the
shit,
T's the one they're focusing on for sure.
and racism, but
Yeah.
surface level racism is what they disagree on, right? Systemic functional racism is way more a part of both parties and not to be trifled with by both parties. But like, the stupid fucking inane, they're teaching our kids critical race theory, which means that we're being indoctrinated into communism bullshit that the right in this fucking stupid shit fuck country says, right? That
Yeah.
is just papering over the actual racism that exists. And the Democrats are fine fighting the first thing and not the second thing, with the exception of a few people who, for the love of God, this is the other thing. It's like we as a nation talk about the squad and like Bernie Sanders to an extent that especially with the squad, because they're like what 10 people charitably in a house that is 535 people. Like I don't know why we what do we expect them to do? Get fucking AKs and destroy everyone in the house and then
No, of course.
take power? Like what? I don't get it. So whatever about them, it's like it's nice that they're there, I guess. But if they take a bad vote, then I don't think we should talk about it for 20 minutes because fucking who cares? They don't have any power, right?
Well,
And
let's get
neither
back
do
to
we. And
yeah. Let's get back to talking about the issue at hand here.
yes,
Okay, so the Supreme Court immediately. This is the real big deal. It's not Texas necessarily. It's the Supreme Court who said, "Oh yeah, that bill, that the new law is fine. No
or we're
big
not going
deal."
to look at it. They said we're not going to look at it.
No,
And
they looked at it. They
oh
said
yeah,
it's
then,
fine.
no, then they looked at it. First they didn't look at it, then they looked at it in the middle of the night. And
Whatever. Yeah, they
this is
at
the
midnight.
capture of this is the capture of the state by the point is that functionally speaking, all Democrats must be Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema functionally because at this point it doesn't matter because there's a 6-3 Supreme Court and fucking the fucking the inmates are running the asylum now, right? And if that is allowed to continue, then there's no reason to fucking talk about it anymore, right? There's no reason to fucking because it doesn't matter anymore. And everyone that is to the left of Joe Manchin uh, should resign in protest and begin the work of forming a vanguard revolutionary party. Like that's what needs to happen if the one of the two, three things that matter to anyone on the blue side of the color spectrum in America uh, is allowed to just erode because of fucking uh, because of the lunatic capture of the state. That's it. There's no more talk of any of this shit because they're all the same now. It's just question of degrees and fucking who did what and what, oh, would Trump have left Afghanistan or would right? Like it's all this is all window dressing now because the two-party system has died, and if you are worth your salt or you're a progressive or whatever, then you should leave because this is fake now, right? This is as spectacleized and irrelevant to the lives of people as it could ever possibly be if you are allowed to fucking call the police on a woman who goes to Oklahoma to get an abortion because she can't get one in Texas because the abortion doctors in Texas are afraid of their staff being sued by snitches because that's in
By the
law.
way, did you hear about that website where you
Yes.
can go on and report people who are having abortions or whatever in Texas? I found out about the website and spent hours making fake uh, entries into it. From Dr. Evil, Dr. Spaceman, aka Dr. Spaceman, Dr. Kevorkian, Dr. Spock, just whatever just came to my mind, like, and the last time I tried to go to the website, it said your IP address has been banned or something. But apparently, the GoDaddy has decided that they're going to stop supporting the website, and it's gone in like a week or two or whatever. It's not much longer that it's going to last. So that's cool. But I definitely had a lot of fun spamming the fuck out of it, I must say.
Well, I just texted you the instructions for how to do it in the most efficient way possible. But
I definitely didn't. I actually looked up Texas zip codes to put in. But that was the most realistic thing that I actually did. The rest of it was all like when it was like description, I said communist abortion or socialist abortion or liberal mask wearing or just like things like that. Just whatever like two or three word ideas I came up with, things like
inappropriate touching.
No, my neighbor told me they got the vaccine. I mean, honestly, I think Joe Rogan moving to Spotify was a bad idea. I think he's been on a slope of bad ideas ever since ever since basically a year and a half ago, like right around the time that the Democratic primary ended, kind
Yeah.
of finished
Well,
up. Biden was candidate. All of a sudden, all hope seemed lost for anything, and fucking Rogan just went full on like fuck it, just black pilled fucking like libertarian shit or whatever,
yeah,
and like
which that's whatever, right? Like
yeah, not that big of a deal, but then all like with the
then
COVID shit,
COVID happened,
yeah,
and then he moved to Texas because he's a fucking idiot, right? And it's like, uh, like you're that's stupid. You're stupid. That's
yeah,
stupid. And I just wish, like, for the love of God, I would love to go on Joe Rogan and just be like, just for 5 minutes, right? Just literally like, give me 5 minutes. Give me 5 fucking minutes to be like, dude, all right, look, uh, trans women are women. Uh, just get the vaccine. Uh, you just because you took steroids doesn't mean you're healthy. Not everyone's healthy. Not everyone is able to do things. People should help each other. Stop being a fucking asshole. Don't be an idiot.
yeah,
That's it.
yeah. I mean, the kind of meme going around, of course, right now is like Joe Rogan saying, "Well, I have a really great, robust immune system because I'm constantly working out and eating healthy and blah blah blah." And then, uh, as soon as he finds out he gets COVID, what does he say in that fucking Instagram video where he looks like fucking shit? By the way, he looks like he's half dead. He's like, so immediately we threw the kitchen sink at it. Ivermectin,
Yeah. Did you
hydrochloroquine.
get the vaccine,
I
you
took a
fucking
bunch of
idiot?
vitamin C.
The government is lying to you. The media is lying to you. Your racist aunt on Facebook is definitely lying to you.
She
If
doesn't
you are
think
in
she
need-
is.
If you are in need of a trustworthy source of facts and truth, subscribe to Special Interest Coup.
I have solved the problem of the online left, the tanky versus anarchy thing. I've been thinking about it a lot, and I've solved it now totally. It's totally solved.
Okay,
Uh,
let's
this,
hear it.
so
What's the solution?
well, and I thought of an extra part of it that'll make it even more of a solution. Uh, today.
Cue the fanfare.
Yes. The first part is there's a survey, and it's the whatever you set it up like this. There's essentially 1.5 questions. It's question 1A is which are like as a leftist, which one are you? And the choices are A, tanky, or B, anarchy. So both sides are equally demeaned.
Sure.
And then question 1B is what books have you read that has led you to this conclusion? And you have to type in the books that you've read. You have to like physically type all of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which will deter people from just lying. And then basically once the survey comes out, whichever one is or as tanky leaning, this is how I should be. But then I thought of the survey thing, right? How I thought it should be is the tankies are in charge, and the anarchist, the MLs are in charge, and the anarchists are the cops, right? The anarchists are the people that are in charge of making sure that nobody steps out of line, that everybody's above board, that there's no corruption, and the Marxist Leninists, Maoists are the people that are actually running the thing, right? The post-capitalist government, right? And with the objective that number one in the objectives is smashing capitalism, destroying reactionaries, and making it so that the world is good. And then number two, fighting amongst ourselves about what to do after that, right?
Well,
And
I think I like kind of where that's going, but in a more practical sense, I think we've mentioned this before. We've agreed on this. Right now, there's no real reason to argue about that stuff.
yes,
That's the kind of thing you argue about as you're forming the new government post-revolution. You know
right,
what I mean? Or as you're doing the revolution or whatever. But you don't worry about that shit right this second because all we need to know is that the current system is exploiting us. We know that our natural inclinations will be to kind of try and create something like what existed before. So it's not like we're going to automatically do something completely drastically different. But you know what I mean? We'll all be working towards something better. And at that point, we can argue about what's the better way to go. And, at this point versus that, that kind of thing. But at
right,
this right now, we are all, including some kind of more right-leaning, revolutionary type people. We're all in this divided state, um, basically
neoliberal
at the
capitalism.
mercy of the people who are actually in charge right now.
Yes, the
So there's
capitalists.
no right. So there's no real reason to argue about whether Marxist Leninism or left Marxism or anarcho communism or uh, democratic socialism
Yeah,
or any of that stuff is one is better than the other or this or that or that right now. We should all be working towards literally any of it. Here's my prediction, and this might be just bullshit that I'm just coming up with right now on the spot in my head. But my prediction is that Ivanka Trump will run for office in the future.
and will
Maybe 2024, I don't know, but will try to rehabilitate the Trump name to a more moderate Republican version of the fascism that's going on right now. try to like soften the edges to the point where America just accepts it rather than reject it like they did with Trump. I think that's gonna, and I don't think that it's gonna necessarily happen overnight or any of that shit. But that's just kind of that's the direction I see things happening. Is that they like the Trump supporters will see Ivanka as, oh, she's like the, slightly less hard-edged version of Trump. She
And
won't.
she's a woman. She'll get all the Elizabeth Warren voters. She'll get all the Clinton ladies.
None of them, but yeah, think maybe.
I mean, or either that or every woman in this, she'll be elected, and then every woman in this country will just absolutely fucking just shit themselves to death. It'll just be awful. Every feminist in the goddamn world will just be non-stop for 4 to 8 years.